Namaskar,
It
namaskar.
is such a privilege to have you, be a part of this
Yeah,
video interview and we are all the readers and I as the author of What Not to Do in Entrepreneurship are so
yes,
fortunate to hear your journey, your experiences, because everybody who goes to eat, no matter how young they are, how old they are, as soon as they eat the food, they think they want to be in the restaurant business.
yes,
And there are more people who dream of owning a restaurant. And therefore, there are a lot of people who go, they think they can make a dish. So the next thing they know, they can be in the business of a restaurant. And,
yes,
and therefore, obviously, in general, there are a lot of entrepreneurs in the restaurant business. You are, from everything I know, and I rather have you hear, the audience hear from you rather than from me, the
hmm,
journey that has become the most famous chef Vishnu ji, both in India as well as now in the US.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
so please share with us, Chef Vishnu ji, the purpose and the passion that you transformed yourself from whatever you were doing to being this chef who has, as the readers will or the watchers will watch, that this is not just a chef, it is a creation. And so we are all excited. So please share with us your journey.
Um, Basically, I'm a commercial artist. My father was also a commercial artist, and he wanted to me be a artist like his drawing and painting. But I'm fond of. Basically, I was foodie. Huh. And basically I was the foodie, and uh, he wrote some letters in the thermocols, and we used to step up in background of marriage functions, huh? And there I met one caterer, and I like the way of the serving, and like the way of food, and I have got interest in that. And uh, one fine day, I worked for him for maybe 1 or 2 years at the age of 14 or 15. And one fine day, he says me, he, uh, uh, no, no, this is not your job, and you wipe my plates, and don't do this artwork and all this. And I was shocked that time. I was just only 14 or 15, and then I decide, hi your plates. I will wipe my plates, and that's the journey start with as a caterer. First,
So so
yeah,
just so that we all understand, because not everybody knows what the
yeah,
thermocol behind is, right? So
yeah,
in Indian weddings,
yeah.
as you
Indian
have
wedding.
said, there are staging done on the stage and behind and around, which requires soft productions of cardboards called thermocols in India,
Thermocol.
right?
Hmm.
And you were
Yeah,
making those, and then you joined this caterer or wanted to
caterer.
join the caterer.
Yeah,
And when he asked you to wipe his plates, you said, "Why don't I wipe my plates?" And that was your beginning of the inspiration of your being a chef. But go ahead.
yeah. But uh, I like to wipe his plates also, but the fine way. Huh? But he says, no, no, maybe he is afraid that I enter into his business and all this. That's why 15 rupees per day will be, I will pay for you for wiping the plates. And uh, the journey begins. And at the age of 15, I have I have done my first contract. 250 persons were there, and I cater nicely, and then the business flourished. Basically, I'm an artist, so that my presentation was good. My dishes were also spread was fabulous, delicious, and the business goes on. Since last 35 years, I'm in this business. And second thing, I wanted to be an actor, hmm? But same time, uh, some problems, financial problems in our. So I decide our passion or home. So I will go with this catering and left my this acting and all this singing and stage performing, vagara, vagara, vagara. Then one fine day, I was thinking ki the I wanted to be an actor and I'm here. So what to do? Then I said, keep maybe it's a grace of God. I'm in this business, and I started journey, and I prepare variety of dishes, design new recipes, and one the Rotary Club of Nagpur, they observe me, and one reception or maybe in dinner, they ask me, "Ki, who prepared these dishes?" I said, myself. So they offer me first my cookery show. That they wanted to be they wanted me as a chef, and they said you uh, must yeah, you teach our listeners or their members, and I prepared maybe 7 or 8 recipes, and there I found that this line also give me name or fame, because they like the way of my presentation, my recipes, and all this.
So that's very impressive. So let me ask you, at age of 15, you began to learn about cooking, and then suddenly the next thing you know is you go to somebody and you say, oh, you have a 250 people to feed. I can
Ah,
feed those 250 people. Now,
yeah.
what gave you that confidence of cooking for 250 people at the first shot when you had never done something like that before?
Yes. Maybe it was a confidence, and second thing, before that, I serve 100 people some snacks or tea, huh? Some 150 people's only samosas and all this, and that was my passion. So that it was a great function.
So you were just your confidence in your
Yeah,
capabilities
yeah,
made that happen. You undertook the 250 dishes. Now, during the Rotary Club, because these are all important part of your formation, right? As a part of the Rotary Club, you read, or did it just come to you naturally to create this because you were but being a commercial artist and being a chef, to taste, because one is to the eye and the other is to the tongue, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's a different challenge totally, right? So it's like driving a plane and driving a car. Yes, it's driving, but it's significantly different, right?
Yes.
So what was that thought process? That, because this is something that most early entrepreneurs would think. They think they can do something, but to go from a concept of an idea to doing something for Rotary, what was that thinking inside you that inspired you to say to the Rotary Club? Did you read? Did you Did you understand, or did you just kind of let it gel in your mind? What was that evolution?
I think it was my childhood passion that I want to do something bigger where I am. I want to be one in on one level. People say, "Oh, he is Vishnu Manor."
So therefore, you had that inspiration. You wanted to be,
Inspiration,
you wanted to be something different, and
something
people
different from others.
recognize different. But it is, most people want to be something different, but
Huh.
most people cannot be something different. So, at some point in time, let me kind of move to a something comfortable area. In your cooking of today and modern times, as I have tasted your cookings, and the purpose that I thought you would be an amazing entrepreneurial interview is because you have been able to combine the knowledge of plants, the knowledge of taste, the knowledge of seasons in the dishes you create, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that, so according to you, let's move 10 years later.
Hmm.
According to you, the evolution of Chef Vishnuji, what was those elements? Yes, you had the passion, and
Yeah.
then you were driven, you wanted to be an actor, but you
Yeah.
decided I can be an actor, famous. Instead of being a famous actor, I can be a famous chef.
Yeah.
Correct? Right.
Yeah.
So now you began that journey, but there were some elements in your cooking
Hmm.
that really sort of took a turn in Maharashtrian cooking, or in a regional cooking, or a local cooking, or local availabilities. Share with us how you had all of these things begin to come into your mind. Bring us in your mind how you began to bring that together, because that is the uniqueness that you were wanting to have. So tell us, how did you manage that?
Uh, First of all, then the cookery shows. When I started cookery shows, I was not famous in shows and all this. Last 25 years, maybe back, 25 years back. Huh? So I won't get much money for show. Huh? Then I wrote this type of books. Okay. Uh, First book I wrote, Secrets of Indian Gravy, because I love the gravies, and that's a small book. And I sell that book uh, with that people on that show, and earn money from that show. And because I thought whatever I do, I must have money. I want, and I practice more and more, so that I practice more and more, so that I will go somewhere that people recognize that he's Chef Vishnu Manor. And from that, uh, first book, second book, third book, and uh, so many people gathered there. Maybe somewhere 300, somewhere 400, somewhere 500. And then I started learning of this book, my book, another author's book, and some regional cuisine. What is regional cuisine other than Maharashtrian, then Saudi, then Konkani, then South Indian, then West Indian, and then international cuisine. Uh, and journey begins. Right now, I'm in learning process.
Of course, all of us are, but we have
Yeah.
to learn from you, Chef Vishnuji. So let me sort of go back, because this is an incredible transformation, right? How many
Yes.
books have you written so far?
55, 53 books.
53 books.
53 books. But that is in Marathi and Hindi. And my
Yes.
first book will be launched in English next month,
Okay.
which is Secrets of uh, Indian
Secret
Gravy.
of, what is it
Indian
called?
Gravy.
Indian gravy.
Secret Indian Gravy. Yeah.
Okay. So,
because
what is the secret of the Indian gravy that people should be looking for in your
Asian
book?
and known for the noodles and all this, and Indian known for gravies. That's why secrets of Indian.
So, if I was awaiting the book, because
Yeah,
you already said your first book was about Indian gravy that
yeah,
you decided to write for your audiences that were attending your show, and now on the 53rd book, you are
yeah,
coming to the Western world in an Englishly translated manner
yeah.
of the secrets of the Indian gravy. Of course, the content of that book and the content of this book would be significantly different. Give us a glimpse of your definition of the secrets of the Indian gravy.
Secrets of Indian gravy. There were four Indian gravies, basic gravies, five gravies. One basic white, then second one is brown gravy. Then third one is red gravy. Fourth one is green gravy, and fifth one is sauji gravy. Then white gravy contains cashew and magas, and brown gravy contains maybe base of onion, garlic, and ginger. Red gravy base of tomato,
Because
ah, and green gravy obviously contains spinach, green chili, and coriander,
coriander. Hmm.
cilantro, yeah.
Hmm.
And fifth, sauji. Sauji is our typical Vidarbha style gravy that contains so many of masalas. 16 type of masalas were there with the base of onion. And each gravy will make maybe 5 to 6 recipes from each gravy, and n number you will green gravy with brown gravy with sauji with white, and make combinations of n number
So,
of combinations that
so it is very fundamental to the science of cooking, but like the
yeah,
French have, maybe five different components or
yeah,
five sauces that
yeah,
they
five,
can create to
yeah,
the various French combinations. So
yeah,
you have now taken the Indian science of cooking like Lego blocks, and
yeah,
now you can create out of these Lego blocks of the five different kinds of foods,
yeah,
to be able to create the various combination. Is that correct?
yes, correct.
Okay.
I must say, one chef is not only chef, huh? Uh, he is first of all he is having a knowledge of that recipe. Thought process is there. Okay, so he's a maybe writer or philosopher with food. Okay. Second one, he's a technician, because in cooking, while making the food, he must have some technique, knowledge of science. Huh? Then he's a philosopher. He's a scientist or a technician. He and third one, he knows he how to present our recipe. That there is a fair. Then he must be an artist. He knows the color combination of plate of his recipe. And fourth one, he must be a presenter, because when I give you one recipe and you taste it and say, "Wow, kya baat hai," that art uh, must be with him, so that someone must have smile in on his face with tasting of that recipe. So he plays with five different areas.
Five different traits, each of the
Five.
five different traits
Yeah,
of a person, right? So you have five different traits, five different types of gravies, right?
yeah.
Right. And
Because there were 64 um, uh, 64 क्या 64 type of art in our country, and one is food art or cookery. 64 कलामधली एक कला है
Mhm.
कुकिंग.
So out of the 64 arts of Indian arts, cooking is one art,
Yeah,
right?
cooking is one art. Yeah.
One art, right? So I have a few fun questions on your entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
Obviously, a lot of people within India, and you are now very rapidly gaining name and notoriety and fame in the US. I heard you are going to do a very large restaurant called Par Excellence Vishnuji in
Yeah.
California, right?
Yeah.
Which is the
With
equivalent of the Michelin stars versions of your dream.
with
And,
the grace of
and
you people and Mr.
I know,
Sanjeev.
I mean, it is your talent. And so we are all, of course, anxiously waiting. But the food habits in the world are changing.
Yeah. This.
And the chefs of tomorrow must change or adapt to those food habits. Now, when you are cooking Indian food, right, and I believe you cook vegetarian and non-vegetarian foods, is that
Both.
correct? Both.
Yeah.
And most of the cookings that you do in a vegetarian and non-vegetarian in Indian, are they significantly different when you cook vegetarian and you cook non-vegetarian? Because America is moving a whole lot, in general, the world, to vegetarian foods. Right? Just what is happening in that case in your transformation of cooking?
Yeah. I must say, not only America, in India also, people turning from vegetarian, non-vegetarian to vegetarian era. And basically, I am a vegetarian chef. हाँ, I'm Indian. I'm Indian vegetarian हाथी. मैं कहता हूँ कि मैं शाकाहारी हाथी हूँ. That's right. And there were some different, I must say, difference between veg and non-veg. But in India, huh, in India, the gravy is same for veg and non-veg. Some spices must be added with non-veg. Huh? People like more spicy non-veg. They don't want bland taste with non-veg. Huh? Uh, Maybe 5-10% people like the bland taste, and other than 90% people want spicy food. And uh, we must change the style of cooking with veg and non-veg. And
So what you're saying is that in general, the population of India itself is transforming to be a vegetarian population.
yes, yes,
And but they don't want to change the taste
yeah,
of the non-vegetarian food.
yeah,
So therefore, in general, you were making vegetarian food which was not as hot and spicy, but by making the vegetarian food, especially in the vegan side of it,
vegan
also
side.
as spicy, the taste remains the same, but people can then take the meat out of the content.
Yeah,
So, correct? Now,
uh,
Vishnuji, we want everybody to know how many shows, how many restaurants. We know you have 53 books. You're writing the
yeah,
53rd book. Tell
yeah.
us about how many restaurants, what kind of restaurants, and how many shows do you currently, as an entrepreneur, run?
Uh, Currently, more than 4,000 shows, live shows, and I have running 7 restaurants in India and 2 restaurants in US, and maybe within span of 1 year, 2, 3, 4 more restaurants in US, and had done the world record of 53 hours non-stop cooking marathon. Had done the food non-stop 53 hours. Had done
What
big,
does that mean? What does that mean when you say you did non-stop 53 hours? You continuously cooked for 53 hours?
yeah, continuously cook for 53 hours. Say from morning 6 full day, then night, then second day full day, night. Third day, full day up to 7 p.m.
Wow.
Cooking. That's it.
And was this for a competition or what you did
No,
that
no. This is individual marathon.
individual marathon? Okay.
Marathon. Huh. I've
So
done India Book of Record, Limca Book of Record,
wow,
Asia.
wow. Are you
Yeah.
in the World Book of Records too?
Not now.
Look in, okay. So you have 7 restaurants in India.
Yeah.
You have currently 2 restaurants in the US. You are
Yeah.
expecting to have at least 4 to 5 more in the
Yeah.
next 12 months.
Yeah.
And you have done over 5,000 television shows
Maybe 5,000 more.
4,000, whatever the number
Four
is,
to five.
more than a couple of thousand shows,
Ah, yeah.
right?
And
So
55 books. That's
yeah, well, that's a lot, right? Now I have a question for you, somebody who is watching you as an entrepreneur and wants to become like you. What are some of the things that you would share with them to be careful about, to participate, become a chef, or become a restaurant owner? What are some of those things or the pitfalls that you see, in these entrepreneurs wanting to become chefs like you?
yes. First of all, if you want to spread your business, you you may have some partner, or you want to give some um, franchisee. Huh? Then you uh, mm, that the franchisee owner must have knowledge of food, not only money. That franchisee owner must have knowledge of food. uh, uh, Not necessary that he make food, or he is a chef, or not necessary, but he knows what is particular what is that paneer butter masala contains, what is sauji and what is kokni. Huh? He must have knowledge, and he must have passion to serve the food, or काय म्हणता येईल, असं नाही का आपण छान हे करतो, किंवा नाही नाही मला खूप छान द्यायचं आहे लोकांना
So
काहीतरी
you
हे.
want you want you want you want the person to enjoy the
या
process of creation of food and serving the food
या
to see happy customers,
हॅपी कस्टमर्स.
right?
If you want people happy, you first of all you must be happy
Right.
in your. Yeah.
So in today's, you must be meeting a lot of Indian entrepreneurs who want to be restaurant owners, right? Every day they must admire you. And a lot of restaurants in India do not work. They fail, like in America, of course it is. So obviously they must have the passion for food, but there are other factors that cause them to be successful or not successful. So what are some of those factors that you see with the Indian entrepreneurs or even in American entrepreneurs that cause them to be not be successful? So what you're sharing is that in the restaurant business that you
Yeah.
start, you can always take money from your parents, you can take money from your uncle because you want, or your own wealth, because you
Yeah.
want to put your name there. Now, of course, unless you are a superstar, like Amitabh Bachchan or Shah Rukh Khan or something like that, right? People would not immediately recognize. So therefore, entrepreneurs should not make the mistake of just spending the money because
Yeah.
they want their name outside in the restaurant. That there needs to be not only the passion, but there needs to be some level of sustainability in order to build the traffic, right?
Yeah.
In order to build that's one thing. You need to have some level of sustainability in the initial periods of the restaurant. The
Yes.
next thing is that, of course, when people come in, you need to create the change in the people so that people keep on coming in the
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Correct, right? You have to keep on doing that change in
Huh.
in that ability to create the restaurant. And thirdly, of course, there needs to be some level of uniqueness. Now, you were fortunate because you came in an existing restaurant called Bombay to Goa that already people knew about, and that in the same location with the same people you were able to transform it into Vishnuji ki Rasoi, which is the kitchen of Vishnuji, right?
Yeah.
So therefore there was a continuity of that. Now I have a question for you in that manner. In the Indian kitchens or in the Indian restaurants, in order to succeed for entrepreneurs in Indian kitchens, what are some of the things that entrepreneurs must know in the Indian kitchen or in the Indian service in order for them to succeed in an Indian restaurant business? Because the world now is wanting and desiring more and more of Indian restaurants, and obviously potentially more and more of Indian vegetarian restaurants. So
Yes.
what would your looking into the business of the kitchens in of Indian cooking?
Uh, there is too much market out of India for Indian food, because and explore our type of Indian recipes there. Not only paneer butter masala or that butter chicken and all this and chola bhatura, because we have so many varieties of food contents, uh, proteins, vitamins, with form of different recipes, and showcase your recipes, your authentic recipes. Huh? They want it. Not only paneer butter masala and all this. Okay, you have zunka, you have patta bhaji, you have that bhatavarsa pitla, and so many recipes. There were too many qualities in zunka and bhakar which made from jawar. Huh? That people don't know what is jawar, what contains it.
Yeah.
Combination.
So let me summarize the so that I can we can catch up. So what you're saying is you went to a culinary institute, which is a very famous institute, by the way. Is the American Culinary Institute of America near Albany. It's one of the most famous institutes. You went there, and you went there to show them how to cook some different kinds of Indian
Indian
breads.
bread. Indian
Indian
bread.
breads. But then when you realize that they were more interested in learning about different types of bread from wheat. But you said to them that in India, there are not only different types of breads, but there are different types of grains of creating different types
Yeah,
of breads that would
bread.
then match with the different types of vegetables. So
Vegetable.
therefore, you would have a resonance of the grain with the type of with the type of the vegetables that you would create. So create more kinds of breads from different kinds of grains rather than creating more types of breads from just wheat or something like that.
Yes.
That's so therefore the science of Indian bread making itself is a fascination even for the Culinary Institute of America, where
Yeah.
they can learn, and so can entrepreneurs learn, that look, is you don't need to just have naan everywhere you go. You
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
offer them different kinds of grains, which
Yes.
would go with them in different kinds of the vegetables, right?
Yes.
That's
And in India, people translate their original name also. They don't say bhakri. They said bread. हा कंसामध्ये लिहा ना तुम्ही ब्रेड, पण भाकरी भाकरी भाकऱ्या भाकरीच म्हणा. माझ्याकडे आता मी एक खाद्यकोश लिहिला आहे. 22,000 रेसिपीज आहेत त्याच्यात सर. आणि 22,000 रेसिपीज म्हणजे अजून तो सुरू आहे, प्रोसेस आहे. आणि 22,000 रेसिपीज मध्ये अल्फाबेटिकल ए पासून झेड पर्यंत सगळे पदार्थ. तर ए मध्ये जसं अळूचं फतफद, अळूची भाजी, तर त्याला इंग्लिशमध्ये सुद्धा अळूचं फतफद असंच म्हटलंय. मग त्याचं डिस्क्रिप्शन आहे. तर त्याचं नाव बदललेलं नाहीये.
Yeah. So what you're saying is a part of uniqueness this entrepreneur should learn is that don't give up the culture of the names or the culture of the originality of the food. If you
Yeah.
don't make Indian food and call it wheat bread, but
Yeah.
you can call it chapati and or whatever it is, and put it in the cup as equivalent as bread. So
Yes.
therefore, you will create the awareness of the food. Why? And in this particular uh, suggestion, you have written about 22,000 recipes of food, starting
Yeah.
from A to Z, and each one of them in your own, sort of specific words of the vegetables. Like aloo matar is aloo matar, and then in that bracket you explain what that is. So
Yeah.
therefore,
What is aloo and
bringing different kinds of tools to different uniqueness. Now, I heard this is very important because I think not only will it will attract people to the quality of the food, but they will also be associated from themselves with the regionality, not just the originality, but the regionality of
regionality.
the food that they kept. Now, Vishnuji, I have a thought, and I know you inspired me to thinking that way, and I think that last time I want everybody to hear this in the interview is you had I had gone to this restaurant, which is the world's third restaurant called Central in Peru, is the in the in three Michelin star restaurant, and they have a little in the restaurant. They have a lab. In
Hmm.
that lab, they have various uh, Peruvian herbs, Peruvian foods that they combine together. I heard from you that in your par excellence, Vishnuji, you are looking forward to, you want to create such a lab that would
Yeah.
enable you to do development of food in real time
Yes.
while having sharing the people of to enjoy not only the food but enjoy and get understanding of the research that you
Yes.
want to bring to that food. So this is
Yes.
in line with your thinking
Yes.
that you want people to not change the words, but not also that, but learn about the process of cooking, especially for other entrepreneurs, right? Now, what
Yeah.
according to you are the biggest cause of failures of Indian restaurants all around the world?
Biggest cause about failure. I already told you. They though maybe काय म्हणता येईल त्यांना
Is there anything other than sustenance, maintenance, any other things that you feel? Because it's important for entrepreneurs to know. Yes,
they
go ahead.
we must have passion, sustainable power आणि काय म्हणता येईल पॅशन नाही हो मी वर्ड विसरलो छान वर्ड होता की वाट
Persistence,
पाहण्याची वाट पाहण्याची तयारी आणि
persistence,
कन्सिस्टन्सी पाहिजे
persistence,
परसिस्टन्स
patience,
हा
patience,
पेशन्स हा
patience.
दे मस्ट हॅव पेशन्स हा अँड काय म्हणू मी मी एक अजून काम करतोय म्हणजे आता तुम्हाला सांगतो ऑफ द की मी सगळ्या प्रश्नांची छान इंग्लिशमध्ये तयार करून ठेवा मी उद्या पुन्हा सगळ्यांची उत्तरं जी आहेत म्हणजे हे तर राहीलच याशिवाय मी असाच याच बॅकग्राऊंडला इंग्लिशमध्ये छान तुम्हाला रेकॉर्ड करून वेगळं पाठवेन
That would
ठीक
be
आहे ना
great. That would be great.
हा
That would be
म्हणजे
great. That
प्रत्येक
would be.
प्रश्नाचा प्रिसाईज इंग्लिशमध्ये प्रॉपर मी लिहू शकतो पण मी बोलायला
ठीक आहे
थोडं
ठीक आहे नाही मला समजते मला नाही पण इट्स
सॉरी
इम्पॉर्टंट ना अँड अगेन what is
हो
important to see the originality of it, right?
या
The
या
originality of because Indian cooking is becoming so popular.
या
Vegetarian Indian cooking, and you are the creme de la creme of Indian vegetarian cooking. And that is why I wanted this
येस
to included in it. Besides the fact that you are well known, you have a lot of restaurants, but you are passionate. You want to create, even at this age of your success, you want to help build the science of Indian cooking. So
येस
par excellence, Vishnuji.
हा थँक्स अ लॉट एक मला अजून उल्लेख करावासा वाटेल की आपल्या इथे डॉक्टर त्यांचा एक हे आहे, माझा साक्षात्कारी हृदयरोग, डॉक्टरांचं नाव मी विसरलो, मी सांगतो. तर अभय बंग, you must be heard about Mr. Abhay Bang. In his book, he wrote that one American doctor says there is Indian sattvic food is the best food for any disease or heart. म्हणजे आपलं भारतातलं सात्विक जेवण जे आहे ते सगळ्यात परिपूर्ण आहार आपल्या शरीरासाठी आहे, असं त्यांनी नमूद केलंय. मी उद्या जेव्हा ते तुम्हाला पाठवेन त्याच्यात प्रॉपर नाव वगैरे सगळं पाठवेन.
Yeah.
आणि आय विल शो यू द चार्ट व्हॉट इंडियन ब्रेड कंटेंट्स, म्हणजे इंडियनच्या भाकऱ्या बिकऱ्या आहेत त्याचा छान चार्ट सुद्धा पाठवेन.
Okay.
So that
We are anxiously waiting for this. The chart and the information that we will incorporate in the present.
Yes.
Vishnuji, I have asked you a lot of questions.
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me?
I must say that Americans are more enthusiastic about food. त्यांना त्या फूडची हिस्ट्री आवडते. They want to learn a history of that food, from where it is, what is that originality. I must share one experience with you that we have made भातावरचं पिठलं, Indian name, भातावरचं पिठलं. That one pot meal, that we cook 80% of rice in that pot, and after that mixture of some besan, gram flour with curd and hing, asafoetida and haldi वगैरे आपण जे हे असतं, and we make a paste and then put it on that rice and again
steam it
for 10-20 minutes again, and we'll put some तडका on that. बिफोर दॅट, कारण हे तसा एकदम साधा वन पॉट मील आहे, हे कोकणी लोकांचं फूड आहे की कमीत कमी भांड्यांमध्ये कमीत कमी पैशामध्ये होणारं फूड, स्टेपल फूड तिकडलं. पण त्याला प्रेझेंट करताना मी काय केलं की मी त्याची हिस्ट्री लिहिली. आय रोट अ हिस्ट्री ऑफ दॅट पूर्ण त्या याची, आणि दॅट इज इन हँड रिटन. आणि मी त्या यांना दिलं एका अमेरिकनला, तर त्यांनी इतकं छान वाटलं त्यांना. नंतर मी स्वतः घेऊन आलो ते भांड, तो पॉट घेऊन आलो, आणि त्यांनी मग इतके छान त्याचे वेगवेगळे फोटो काढले, आणि हे मला आवडलं. हे आपल्या इंडियन्स मध्ये थोडं कमी असतं, आपण काही विचारत वगैरे नाही.
appreciation and learning. So that's the other side of the Indian food that we can enhance, is bring into the American culture for all entrepreneurs the learnings of the Indian foods. Not instead of being ashamed, you bring it out as the pride and joy of your cooking dishes, like this pitla over rice,
pitla over rice.
So, but do you have any questions for me?
No, right now.
Okay, you can send them to me in writing.
तुम्हाला जर काही असं वाटत असेल की एखादा प्रश्न मी तुम्हाला विचारावा, तर
नाही, असं नाही, तुम्हाला जे काय विचारायचं वाटत असेल ना तुमच्या मनात,
मी आता उद्याचं जे आहे ना, म्हणजे मी जे टेप करून पाठवणार त्याच्यामध्ये,
आणि तुम्ही तो जो प्रश्न आहे ना, तुम्ही प्रश्न मला मराठीत विचारला तरी चालेल, मी इंग्लिश मध्ये उत्तर देईन, म्हणजे मग त्याला उद्या एडिट करता येईल आपल्याला.
चालेल. एक प्रश्न असा आहे की खरंच इंडियन रेस्टॉरंटची तेवढी तिकडे गरज आहे का? आणि इंडियन रेस्टॉरंट जे एकसुरी पद्धतीने तिथे चालले आहेत अमेरिकेमध्ये, मी पाहिलं एकसुरी पद्धत आहे की जे चालताय तेच त्यांना समोर नेतात, दुसरं नवीन काही आणत नाही. तर हे किती दिवस त्यांना सस्टेन करेल?
So the question is very, very, very...
one more thing, sorry to disturb you. इथे कसं इंडियामध्ये मी विष्णूजी की रसोई उघडली तर मी तिच्याकडे माझा जीवाभावाचा सोबती म्हणून असं काहीतरी बघतो. पण मी अमेरिकन म्हणजे आपल्या इंडियन लोकांचंही असं तिथे ऐकलं की की आम्ही काय लग्न थोडी केलं त्या बिझनेसची, त्यांना खूप त्याचं जिव्हाळा प्रेम असं नसतं. तर हे नाही ठेवायला पाहिजे, ते असलं पाहिजे, सो दॅट तो बिझनेस फ्लरिश होतो ना. ते म्हणतात हा ठीक आहे, नाही चलता दे हम दुसरा देखेंगे. तर
so what is the solution? That's a question or that's a state? I will first ask the first question, and then we can answer the first question, right?
Yes.
So your sort of the first question is that in Indian restaurants in America, there is a habit of doing what others are doing,
Yeah.
and just to create sustainability because that's what they think the common people want. So your question is, do I think that in American culture or in American economics, because the culture is combined culture,
Yeah. Combined culture.
what is the opportunity, if there any, for restaurants to of that kind, sustainable restaurants
Hmm.
to work? So that's your part A of the question. And part B of the question is that the people that are opening the restaurants, are they emotionally engaged in building success of those restaurants, or are they just trying to do that as something they have extra money and they can put, so if that doesn't work, something else other will work? So Vishnuji, that answer to that question, from whatever I know, the first question is, there will always be a business for sustainability which will be under competitive pressures. So if you sell a lunch buffet for 12.95, and the next door if you open a lunch buffet for 11.95, then people will go there. So this is what I believe is just the competitive pressure. And that is not the way. Purpose of business is to make money, right? It is not to be busy. But there is a way of people then use lower cost. And yes, there is the low 20% of the business. You want to be in the
Yeah.
top 20% of the business.
Yes.
And in the top 20% of the business, price is important, but uniqueness is more important to it, right?
Yes. Yes.
And everything, that's why I absolutely adore your idea of par excellence, Vishnu, because it is the creme de la creme of cooking with creme de la creme capabilities, something unique that Americans will look forward to, right? So
Yes.
such kinds of businesses, such kind of unique businesses that are passionate, have a passionate idea and have what is called as passionate money after it, then there is a high probability of them to be very successful. On the other hand, when you are saying people just have money to invest, it is like the where you say, oh, they want to come one day and show I own a restaurant, and then
Ah.
if it doesn't own, then they can write it off. So that is not building success. That is just wasting money, and that's how more failures occur. And then there is sort of a third kind of restaurants, Indian restaurants, that that are growing up here, which is fundamentally based on creating low overhead infrastructure in restaurants, but
Hmm.
creating high end in like Jalsa, which is now a
Jalsa. Yeah.
high end capability here. But they don't have any restaurant. They service only foods and outgoing services and stuff
Catering.
like that.
Yeah.
So they have addressed a different structure, a different business model. So my suggestion, my answer to your question will be, it all depends upon the business model that you want to go after. You want to go after the competitive business model, then you go and open up another restaurant in dosa business. If you want to go after a high structure, low overhead
I,
infrastructure, but go after the
ah.
Jalsa model. But if you
Yeah.
want to go own a passionate restaurant with uniqueness, you go after par excellence, Vishnuji.
Ah.
And so that's
Yes.
my answer to your question.
Yes. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank
And
you so much, Vishnuji. I really appreciate the purpose, and we are all looking forward to having this interview transcribed for all the inspiring entrepreneurs all over the world of how to do Indian cooking. A man at 17 becoming a 15, serving 250 people at 17, writing 55 books, or having 4,000 plus lectures or whatever all around
Yeah.
on cooking, opening 7 restaurants and thinking about doing 5 more in the US. May you always be blessed. May you always be successful. And we are so proud of having you on this what not to do in entrepreneurship. Thank you so much.
Thank you.